very enlightening. मैं ये भी कहना चाहूँगा कि तानसेन और कानसेन का जो समझ रखता है वो सबसे बड़ा कम्युनिकेटर होता है. So now I invite Sidharth sir to tell you a few stories about his experiences and journey. I think there are a lot of things, if you go deep into it, there is a practical learning for all communicator when he speaks. So I hand over the mic to sir. Please sir.
You create a lot of expectations and put the bar very high for me to take a leap, and at this age and 90 plus kgs of weight, it's a difficult thing to do. To start with, you quoted Shahir Ludhianvi, and भाई साहब के एक का अपने शेर को कोट किया, मैं पल दो पल का शायर हूँ, पल दो पल मेरी कहानी. But that share did not end there. That share was written in a moment of remorse, and he said, and he thought that my time is up. And then he later on went back to, when he had fair amount of success as a poet, he went on to write the next sequel to that share. It has also been used in Kabhi Kabhi film. ये यूज हुई थी. मैं हर एक पल का शायर हूँ, हर एक पल मेरी कहानी है, हर एक पल मेरी जिंदगी, हर एक पल मेरी कहानी है. So he may be looking towards, graying hairs and this thing. I look towards the best dye in the market to keep my hair black. So now, I have connected with people all my life, and when I became, I've done a lot of things in my life, and now the present assignment heading country's largest media school. So when they came to interview me the students came to interview me and asked me that, which media school did you go to? I said the only media classes I've attended was the journalism hobby classes of my school, and I was never trained as a media person. So this, ये जो लंबी टॉपिक्स ने बनाई है, उसके अंदर जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है वो ह्यूमन नैरेटिव. It is human to human connect, how you connect with everything. Now I have Shaban here with me, and how is he here today? He was not there in the agenda. So we wanted to have and when I met him, so I had done a military history book on a very eminent institution, Professor-Chairperson Royal Indian Military College, Dehradun. So there was, in the pre-independence time, there was a large number of students who came from both the Pakistan, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, to that school, and then they went back. Some of them became nation builders when Bangladesh became independent, and they contributed. And with that kind of information, knowledge, which I carried with me, having done my research, I could engage with him in a long chat, and he has taken promise for me to sit down and do a book with him sometime in the future. But that information which I had, and those stories which I had, which I shared with them, have made him a good friend of mine. Because I am somebody who, at this stage, I am not of much utility to a minister, press of an embassy. When they press release me, छुपा सकता है इनकी कहीं पर क्या करते. So, but still, we connect with on that, and then how we are here today, because we were to meet for a किस्सा कोई सेशन, कहानी वाली सुननी थी, बतानी थी. तो मैं बताया कि आज तो कहानी सुनाने में यहाँ जा रहा हूँ, so he said I want to come and listen to the stories. So that's how he is here today, and thank you Shaban for having spent our time. Now he has wanted, Rajesh has wanted me to talk about the Kadaknath story. Kadaknath story, so there's always a sequel to a story, so remember that. And Kadaknath story को मैंने एक जगह बेची, उससे मुझे कहीं और जगह जाने का मौका मिला, वो story मैं बताऊंगा आपको. I will tell you why is he talking about Kadaknath story, and what happened after that is much more important, But before that, you see a good story, the power of a good story. I was generally been, when you are reaching the, kind of nearing the time that everybody starts counting, how many years Virat Kohli is going to play, और मेरी कितने साल बाकी है, तो वो फीलिंग अपने अंदर भी आती है कि मेरे कितने साल बाकी है प्रोफेशन में. तो one wants to collect look back and see what all one has done over the years. So I realized one story which I found in my clippings, this is I was doing, and which I wanted to relate to you. You see, you really don't have to work very hard for doing a very good story. You just have to have your eyes and ears open, that's all, and put it in the right perspective. A friend of mine, he's a very senior man, this Swaraj magazine, Sanjay Singh, we are neighbors for last 20 years. In 2003 or 2004, he fell ill of dengue. And in 2004, dengue still is a menace, and in 2004 it was catastrophic in most of the cases. And so we took him to where we stayed. The closest hospital was Metro Medical Center in Noida, where we took him and got him admitted there, and with our journalistic Pachan and all. The challenge was to get those platelets, for the person, and we had to find people, take him to a cancer hospital. Dharamshila there, it was a big queue, and by finding 3 o'clock in the morning, the platelets could be taken out from our donor system and brought to him and then given. Whole night was spent in that. Next day when I went to office, 11 o'clock, I listed that as a story. That, and mind you, till then, dengue was thought to be a disease which infected the poor. It was not yet in the middle class colony or higher end colonies until that time. So I did that story, and I just narrated what I went through the night, trying to help my friend out, and that story appeared next morning in the newspaper. I was working for them, and would you believe it was next morning by 8:30. Shilaji was chief minister, and Shilaji, we look चर्चा अभी के पता नहीं मुख्यमंत्री अखबार पढ़ते नहीं पढ़ते हैं. Shilaji was to be ready with her newspaper clippings and having read it by 7:38 in the morning. And she gave me a call and she asked about the friend and everything, and she said that where have we failed? What do you think, where have we failed? I said, ma'am, I think platelets is the issue, and which I mentioned, and they are not clear. By 11 o'clock there was a meeting in her office, A.K. Walia, the health minister, and the whole idea was to create platelet banks in the city. And at that point of time, those frozen banks were created in Sidharth Hospital, AIMS, and just not Sidharth Hospital in AIMS, but a whole lot of other hospitals in the city, so that it was easily available. The whole idea of, because 3/4 of the people working in Delhi, they live in Noida and Gurgaon. So it is not that it should not be barred for hospitals from Noida to Gurgaon to take platelets and all that. So that's a kind of counter dengue kind of a policy was formed by the government, and I think that story did have a role. There must have been other government reports and everything, but it might not have reached Chief Minister's table. She would not have really realized, and there must have been discussions in the government. I'm not saying that the discussion started only then, but now that it reached the Chief Minister's table, she called for her feedback, and she decided to take a decision on that. And that's how it's done. And today we have come a long way from there. Today getting platelets are, in fact, all the hospitals, good hospitals, they have that platelet extracting machines and all that. So that's not an issue today. But at that point of time, it was an issue. So, so that was on a more serious note. That what's the, how does the good, and in that story, I really did not have किसी बड़े डॉक्टर का कोट लगा दो, किसी का ये कर दो, वो कुछ नहीं था. It was just my BP through the night. That what all I went through the night with my friend. And I think that is the story. And that is what, I think that is the human narrative. What you have felt. And that is why I tell, people who have worked with me and who have culture, that sink yourself into the story. Unless until you sink yourself in the story. Unless until you sink yourself in the project, they say it in the corporate world also. Unless until you sink yourself into a project, unless until you sink yourself into a story, you cannot produce a good story. And now that a demand has been made about Kadaknath's story by the chair, and chair cannot be overruled, because I heard Mahua Motra saying कि सर आपने तो ऐसा बोला था to the speaker, and where she is now you can all see today. So, so I don't want to be a Mahua Mitra, and so you see, Kadaknath's story is something like is a group of youngsters running a. I like this fellow, Saurabh Ghosh. He had a finance MBA degree. He was working with a good KPMG kind of company, and then one day he came that I'm not getting kicked out of my job. Now such nonsense is talked by people who are foreign educated and have a lot of money. हिंदुस्तान के अंदर नौकरी मिल जाए, वो किक लगाने की नौकरी मिल जाए, he will take up that job. But he said I am not getting kicked out of the job, and I said what are you planning to do? He said I am planning to do this CSR activity, and so and then we managed and he got to help me out. So I had a friend. Anybody here from the gas petroleum industry? They were going to start a party in Gay. So I put in through to him, and then the party was also very impressed with him, and he said that there is a challenge I throw to you. There is this place called Jhabua, which is India's most arid district, India's poorest district, and in gas authorities history of CSR, nobody completed the project they were assigned there. All the NGOs who went there. It was so challenging was the situation to work and operate there. So Saurabh took this challenge, and then he found, when he found into his, he saw that he needed 4 or 5 people who could, work with him, stay in Jhabua and work with him in that very inhospitable situation. So he looked for people who were largely unemployable by corporate standards. जिनके पास बेरोजगार थे, नौकरी नहीं थी, और he employed those 4 or 5 people, and thus they survived. They survived there. They executed the project for the first time. All the funds were utilized there, and then in fact he came back and told me once that he wants interns. An acquaintance who was with IIT Delhi, he also came to me the techniques and good place in internship. So I asked him if he would like to go to Jhabua, and first thing when you go and check on Google what Jhabua is, so hope will come back and all that kind of talk. So he did go there. He came back and he said that it was a good first time experience. And then finally, in a meeting like this, there's an annual general gathering which you have where you call all your stakeholders and everybody. So I also had a chance to go there, and I came back. And I said, why should I go to Jhabua? Tell me one good reason. And one reason he gave me was that, until that time, this name was not very well known in the Indian industry. So he said that, we'll get you a fabulous chicken curry there. And so fabulous good chicken curry with chicken curry there. Although you don't get the breed of chicken which we get in Jhabua or in other parts of the country. So that particular breed of chicken was called Kadaknath, which now Mahendra Singh Dhoni has made very famous by because he owns now Kadaknath poultry farms. So they were actually in their part of their CSR activities, they were also promoting Kadaknath poultry farms, goat farming, all those kinds of things. So social media, digital media. So when I was leaving there, I've been very active on Facebook on day one, and I continue to be active on Facebook. So now Twitter doesn't gel with me. So I said I'm in search of Kadaknath. That's the thing. I'm going to Jhabua in search of Kadaknath. वो नाम जो है Kadaknath, people thought I was going on a spiritual trip. Sounds very much like Vishwanath or Kadaknath. They did not know that I was going on a trip, to have chicken curry, People all thought, Mr. Mishra is very spiritual, he's going to a nath which is very unknown in the, So some people thought that, probably the season of BJP is coming, so he's trying to turn rightward and all that kind of concoctions to make. I came back and wrote that story, and a few days later, I got a call from an acquaintance. What digital media has really helped you out is that in this Facebook thing, when you put your stories and people read your stories and all, which has things happening. So this person who was in the Indian Army, he quit Indian Army after about 10 years of service and went to an American school and did his MBA from there, and took that a job in the West. So I got a call from him, and तब तक WhatsApp चालू नहीं हुआ था, so he must have been spending a fortune on making that call. And he said that I said, I called him. I said, I know you very well. With a lot of affection, I knew him. In fact. So he said that I'm currently employed as a professor of leadership programs in Smurfit School of Business in Dublin. So you know, जो पत्रकार होता है उसको हर एक चीज पे थोड़ी थोड़ी जानकारी होती है. So you know, one ad, and then there is this tradition in the society also. If anybody wants to know something, मेरे बच्चों को मैनेजमेंट पढ़ाना है या मेडिकल साइंस पढ़ाना है तो चलो उनसे पूछते वो पत्रकार है. So that's how that Patrakar had some idea. I said, Dublin there is a school which is ranked very high. So he said, incidentally I'm in that school. It's called Smurfit School of Business and it's ranked 29th in the world. I said, very good, congratulations. And he said, what was this Kadaknath business? I told him the story. And he said, next is that we're having a leadership conference and all, and so we will use this. I said, most likely you use it. And send us a press release also so that we can print it in newspaper that my story was used there. No. We are sending you a ticket also. And we are giving you accommodation also. You have to come and narrate this story. And that's how the Kadaknath story reached Dublin. So that is the power of a good story. And then many years later, and you see, जो मैं कहता हूँ मैं हर एक पल का शायर. So Kadaknath अभी बूढ़ा नहीं हुआ. So it so happened that few months back, Mr. Sarvesh Kumar Tiwari, who was to come with hands behind his back with a press release, and now I know you also spent about 3 floors in that mall, and so he said कि सर देखिए ना एक वो है मीडिया वर्कशॉप है और वो कुछ लोग हैं उनसे आपको कुछ बात करनी है ये करनी है वो करनी है. So, my whole problem is that, if you give me an idea that it is going to be a huge thing, then preparing for a huge thing is quite difficult for people. So, I prefer that if it's a small thing, one can go and talk extempore. Dil ki baat kare, man ki baat na kare, dil ki baat kare. When you prepare for man ki baat, dil ki baat you don't prepare for. So, I went there, then when I reached the venue, I realized that 16 top officials of Jindal Steel were sitting there to hear me out. Now, what do I talk to them? Then I